Hello, hello, beautiful stars. I am okay. So I'm thinking you can hear me. I'm going to keep rolling. That's why I started a bit earlier. It used to be, I'm taking that off because it serves no purpose right now. Um, it used to be that I would do Fridays at 11, and I'm still trying to get to that, guys, but my life is a little bit different. So as people might be coming in, and if you can hear me, I appreciate if you told me in the chat. Come on in, folks, you beautiful stars. Good morning, good morning. Happy evening, day, wherever you are. Yes, good morning. Hello. Um, I'm going to kind of babble maybe a little bit at the beginning because I am live. I normally do go live because I just roll with it. I'm just a one that rolls with things. I want to try to make better productions for you all. I am still working out kinks as to how to do things and share things because I have to start sharing better pictures and whatnot. So to really explain stuff, especially when we get into all the laws, more so than the hermetics. We're going to touch on the hermetics, which I've already done. There's a whole playlist that you can listen to about hermetics. Oh, and this is our card for today. That we're going to go into the law, more just order. And the order is all the laws, right? But here's the deal, like hermetics is not, that very much pertains to 3D. So I'm going to have to describe how that pertains to 3D and then bring you all out of 3D. I'm kind of babbling now to make sure that people can hear me. That's what I'm working on right now, is just making sure my equipment works. So it is Friday at 11 Eastern Standard Time. This is my normal time, but my Fridays have been all jumbled up. Next Friday, this might sound weird. I have to start making or building relationships with food trucks. I know, food trucks. Who has to build Sorry, guys, I'm seeing myself in a whole different way in this film. It's kind of different. So I'm messing with myself. I have to build relationships with food trucks and for all the events that I do. And downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, next Friday from 11 to 3 is like a food truck celebration, like a cook off, and all the food trucks show up. And so my butt needs to get down there so I can start networking and building relationships with them. So probably next Friday at 11, I will definitely not be live because I have to build relationships with food trucks. I am babbling a little bit. We drew a card as we normally do. And so as I do that, I'm going to see if people come in and tell me that they can hear me. I would appreciate it, you beautiful stars. Last night I recorded the February 2022 Akashic Collective message, and I didn't record it correctly. And my patrons, because it goes out to them first, informed me that they couldn't hear anything. So I am still trying to figure out what am I doing here. Oh man. You know what it is, folks? It's not that I can't understand electronics. It's not that. It's that it's time consuming. It's that and we're going to talk about this a little bit today. Sorry. Oh, that mint went through wrong. We're going to talk a little bit about that today for the 2024 predictions part 2 conclusion. It's a transition year. Sorry. That is going to look different for everyone. Our card is number 20. Discernment. I do apologize. I will tell you, the weather down here where I live, wherever you are in the world, I'm in the Chattanooga, Tennessee Valley area. I live in North Georgia. in the United States. Our weather is fascinating here um, compared to other parts of the United States. And we are in that time frame where it's going to get to be like 68 degrees. And then the next day is going to be 47. And then the next day is going to be frost and freezing. And then the next day is going to be 58, 62 degrees. We're in a constant, it's a constant. And what's interesting about that is, so we're used to that here, but it does mess with my sinuses and life, and I get a cough. Um, we're used to that here. That's going to be a part of a lot of the transition, as I talked last time in the first 2024 predictions, that even the weather, the other parts of the world are going to have to start getting used to being flexible in that way as well. And so I'll tell you, yeah, it creates sinus issues, coughs, the up and down. That is a day to day difference. Um, the seasons will not be looking the same, right? So it looks like I have one person listening. So if they're listening, I hope you can hear me. Hello, hello, beautiful stars. Our card is number 20, discernment. The frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. This card is amazing. This card, see, I don't even know where my camera goes. This card, flip your hand. This card is amazing. Oh, there's not enough light to show you. Thank you, Lucky and Seeker of Truth, that just came in and said that they can hear me. My goodness. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Discernment, number 20, discernment. Yeah, see, I don't even know where my camera is. Oh, my goodness. Hold the card straight. Discernment. Oh, guys. I know why they wanted us to. Oh, now my camera needs to come back into focus. Hi, I'm here. Hello, camera. My camera didn't really like that, I guess, huh? I will do a short with this card and attach it to this video here with a close-up of this. I'm going to read it again, though, because we are going to get into the the back end of the 2024 predictions. The frequency of discernment supports our ability to view view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, right? Yet with compassion and wisdom. I love discernment. I think a lot of people because that word is used more in different groups. There's not too many people understand what that word means. That's what that word means, and it is an actual frequency. It starts with the frequency of discernment supports our ability. It is an actual frequency to have discernment. It's interesting. Okay, so in the first January 2024 year predictions video, which now is like 4 weeks ago, I am so sorry, folks. I my January, mine. I y'all can chat about your own. You can leave a comment below. How was your January? Mine hit. Mine hit and it hit hard and fast. And I'm not saying it was all bad. I'm not saying that at all. Um, but it it hit, man, which I know is my, which we're gonna talk about individual level, what this year might look like for people. For me, it being the transition year, I very much have to have compassion for myself about being flexible because January hit hard and I had to be that way. Which I don't like being flexible. I just don't like it. It doesn't feel good. Um, and so that's why there's a few weeks between these readings, but also um there was the Galactic Council on January 20th, which yes, I was there even though there was a lot happening in my life. Um I was there. I'm not going to go into all the little minutia of it all. Um I might with my patrons of what it all looked like and what all went down. Fascinating stuff. The main thing was is that they had postponed or gave humans, and here's the thing, we're all connected. There is no separation. But as above, so below, as below, so above. We are the middle ground. A lot of what we do dictates what happens elsewhere and vice versa, right? So we are in a very big system of order and operation, I guess you would say. A lot of people call it the matrix. So we are many though. We are many, many, many. So is the galactic, so is the cosmos, so is the universe, the multi-universe. There's many. There's many, many. Um so it was I'm focusing on what is pertaining to us, right? There were other things discussed that has nothing to do with us. Um you know, um with us though, there was a debate going back and forth, and it continuously was postponed. But this was the third time where a decision had to be made, um, that, by the third time of postponement, it has to be made. And I will go into more depth with my patrons about this than here because they understand more so about the system of things because they're patrons. So, what was decided and concluded was that, and most people are talking about this because of the time period that we're in. This is not unknown, but it also wasn't actually decided yet. Now it has been decided that this cycle is going to end. It is based on different degrees, right? Of a sort. So this cycle is going to end, which is okay. I have been doing a lot of timeline cleanses lately because I put it out there that, hey, let's clean up the point in your timeline, the one that you're living in now, connected to now, where you chose to forget who you are, either a conscious choice or a subconscious choice. I've been doing a lot of them lately, and many people, oftentimes their choice was actually prior to the last cycle ending, or it was just post the last cycle ending. So I even get to see what a cycle ending looks like in a spiral of a timeline, um, energetically to to show me that that was the cycle ending. Many of us have lived through a cycle ending. Many of us have, and I'm not the only one that speaks about this. I'm not the only one, so I feel a little bit comfortable talking about it. Um, but that's also where all the human emotions are happening right now because we can feel it. We can feel, oh my goodness, a cycle is going to end. Like we can feel it, but we don't really, not everybody's able to consciously recognize that that's a lot of the parts of their emotional state. We just can feel like something's coming, but we're not sure. And I do want to put it out there. Cycles end. That doesn't mean that everything ends. That That's what they want me to be very clear about. Because I was at the meeting, but then I didn't get the second part until after because of stuff in my life. I lost my master passed away during all of this at the same time. So there was a lot going on with me. Um, Master teacher, I should say. I'm not held by any kind of master. I am my own master. So cycles do end, but what has not been decided, so they wanted me to start that. They said, so this is what it reads. 2024 reading continued. That was my handwriting. Sorry. I have to always mark down what I'm, transcribing. A year of transition and acceptance. We're definitely going to talk about that. Yes, the cycle is going to end. It's up to us how we handle the transition. Okay. And there's more to this. So a cycle can end. And many a times when people are talking about it, they go back to previous cycles that ended with mass destruction. The world's on fire, uh, the ice age, like all these cycles that ended and destroyed everything. That's what they want to reference. That doesn't necessarily have to be. It very much doesn't have to be. Um, with I just mentioned my master, we had been the students with Shri and Kira for I think the past like 3 years or so. We've been time jumping, and if there were any like global um disasters, we've been energetically trying to shift that and change that. We can all do things like that, and it is based, as the next line is, this 2024 will mirror 2026, as 2023 will mirror 2025. So we have this base here where things are mirroring each other, these 4 points, which patrons, we will definitely be going into that further down with the pyramids. And I guess I'm supposed to do pyramid stuff here as well, to discuss the base of a pyramid and the 4 sides and the fact that there's 3 points of a triangle. I have to do all that here as well. So that'll come, folks, when I get to it. So 2024 will mirror 2026. So everybody's looking at, oh my goodness, by 2026, all this stuff can happen. All this stuff can happen. Da, 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 da. Well, this year is going to mirror it. So the choices we make this year, are we in love or are we in fear? The choices we make this year will very much kind of produce the outcomes in a lot of ways of 2026. Please hold on to that and know that. And I know they said 2023 will mirror 2025, and 2023 was difficult for many. It was difficult for many. It was. Because, um, well, many were still in resistance, and I will be talking about that today. It was very difficult for many. So it's all choice. Everything's choice. Everything is choice. So with the cycle ending, do we have a day and time? No. Do we have how it's going to look? No, none of this has been decided. It's all about our frequencies. It's all about, are we going to actually understand what it means to get our vibes up and help Gaia with the transition of the flip of the poles? Are we going to actually do that? Are we going to pay attention to her instead of us? I don't know. Are we gonna pay attention to that? It's a symbiotic relationship between her and us. She's actually the one that provides the majority of our needs. Are we gonna pay attention to that? I don't know. What are we gonna do, folks? I don't know. Are we going to start living through acceptance and grace and compassion for self and others? I don't know. Are we? Are we going to um not fear AI, but actually embrace the potentiality of how that could be good? I don't know. I don't know. There's so many ifs. I mean, if you could, the world is consumed with ifs. It is. That I learned that a long time ago. That personally, collectively, the world is drowning in what ifs. Good, bad, or indifferent. What ifs. And it's those what ifs that leave us in that freeze, flight, fight mode. So they're all what ifs, but that's what they do to us humans. These concepts that good, bad, or indifferent, like I said, the world gets consumed by them individually and collectively. It's just an if, and it puts us in that freeze, flight, fight mode. It's just an if. We are very much masters. Please, when the February Akashic reading for the collective comes out, listen to it. Please listen to it. So the cycle will end, but it could be if we all collectively, you know, do as humans can do as humans were designed to do, love one another, love ourselves, love the earth. The transition, the ending of a cycle can be beautiful, can be great. It's up to us. Or it can be complete destruction. I personally, I it's for me, I just do my part. I just do my part. I don't, worry about anything. Just do my part. So, I'm gonna keep going, but that was a part of the last one. Also the rise of the native. I did a separate video for that. Um, I'm trying to think what else was in there. I'm just gonna keep going with what they have for this one. So let me read it all and then I'll talk about it. So they started with a year of transition and acceptance. Yes, the cycle is going to end. It's up to us how we handle the transition. So 2024 is transition. This 2024 will mirror 2026 as 2023 will mirror 2025. The decisions we make this year, the year of trust. Geez, that's all they wrote. Or I knew what they were saying. The decisions that we make this year, the year of trust. So that's really how I should probably label this. 2024 is the year of building trust. Then they go into the economy has not fallen. And then it says that energy was actually last October through this October. It can still it still can change. It's the transition of economy which many have spoken about. And then there's some extra stuff that I'll that's for to break this down. So I have been hearing this a lot. First of all, let's jump right into the decisions we make this year, the year of trust. Let's keep going back to the trust as we go into the economy thing. That everybody keeps talking about how the economy is going to collapse in October because of what's happening planetarily wise, what's happening here. What I will tell you folks, I was told that last October. We are going from an October to an October, roughly time wise, of a stream of energy based on our decisions. and our choices as to how that might happen or not happen. So everybody's focused on, oh man, the economy's gonna crash. The economy's gonna crash. Or based on our decisions, it doesn't crash, it just has a nice transition flip to it, right? Some might even see that as crash. But as an outsider looking in, I find it fascinating because we tend to do the same things. We Us humans, we tend to do the definition of insanity of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And I've been watching, it's kind of like if you took Y2K, and well, at least here in the States, I have to say I'm only witnessing what's happening in the States for the most part when it comes to this. If you took what people were doing at Y2K and you took what people were doing at the housing market boom, which I definitely was living through, um, of the early 2000s. So when everybody was buying a house, I couldn't afford a house in the early 2000s, and then you add Y2K onto it, somehow everybody's doing the same damn thing again. It's fascinating to watch. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to watch, right? Because we're doing the same thing, expecting different results. We literally have done the same thing. So maybe in 2024, we can figure out a different approach, right? Because those same things are going to produce the same results. Insanity. When everything is energy, when everything is energy, we have the choice, the discernment, right? I can hold this card up again to change what's going on, the cause and effect. Remember when we learn about cause and effect in the Hermetic principles, you can listen to the playlist. You have to change the cause in order to change the effect. And the cause is the action of choice. It's what we focus on. It's the seed that grows into the effect. Well, very few people are changing the cause. Very few people are doing different. And so I find it fascinating that it's like, wow, okay, Y2K and the property boom is it was in full effect the past few years. I got to watch it. That's what I do. I just watch. I'm gonna read this card again. Number 20, discernment. The frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. Maybe if we could just establish more of this. Oh, my camera. If we can establish more of this discernment, which is a frequency, we can then make different decisions. And the different decisions create different actions. And then those actions create different causes. Oh my goodness. I love causes and effects. I love it. So, with the economy, they're saying it has not fallen yet. So, we have last October, it was actually predicted to from the Akashic. They were saying, hey, this is on everybody. And there was this stream that was also kind of growing at the time. That was also when the alien thing was popping off. Um, you know, so people's eyes were more focused on that than economy aspects. Um, and I think that helped a little bit, the distraction a little bit. But the more that people live in fear of it, the more that they will receive it, right? We receive what we're focused on. Um, but it has not fallen yet. That is determined by us. And Let's go with what they also said. It is a transition of economy, which many have spoken also about. So it has been predicted a long time ago with the entering into the age of Aquarius that the economy will do a flip, same as the flippy floppy of the poles. The economy will flip. So those of us who try to live by doing what they love, what brings them joy, um, which is difficult, right? It's difficult, and there's many people that have been doing it for years and have struggled for years, but they hold true to who they are and what brings them joy and how they serve. Um, and then there's the other end of it, of the scale, of those who make very good money and hoard it or use it for outlandish things. It's been spoken about a lot that it's a transition of the economy flipping into those who are actually trying to serve others. That could be even those who are trying to develop AI to benefit the earth and others. It could be those at ground level that are serving others. It could be uh, those that are just of pure of heart that have been working hard their whole life, and then finally something changes. They get that huge payout or they get a very big raise that is allotted to them. So it's a transition. It can be that we're in a vast transition. And some of it we might not see it until we're further into 2026. Remember, 2024 will mirror 2026. So let's say we're halfway through the year, August of 2024, and we are talking more about, oh man, the economy is going to fall and we're all going to be in dire straits. And that's what we're doing in August. I'm sorry, I paused for a moment. As you all know, my beloved Samson, he chose not to get up to go to the bathroom all morning. And now, you all know what he's asking for. No, kid, lay down. Not right now. So, he's going to be probably bothering me. Let's say August of 2024. We're all in negative. We're all talking about how the world is going to collapse. Well, if we do that, it might not happen a couple of months later. We will feel the effects fully, though, in August of 2026 when it's exactly what we say. It's exactly what none of us have anymore, right? We have to be very, we have to be very, we have to have the discernment to know that what is on our minds and lips and hearts, we are creating all the time. But now let's say in August of 2024, we're having a good old time. We're not going to worry about anything. We're actually embracing humanity. We're helping each other. We're learning how to barter and build relationships, and we're thinking about how we can actually live our joy much more. We're donating all the stuff in our house because most, at least in America, we own too much stuff. We've transitioned enough knowing that our needs and cares are actually met, and we're grateful, and we have so much gratitude within us. Well, shoot, that love and gratitude and service and compassion and grace that we have for ourselves and others, that will also then be bestowed upon us 2026 August. Do you see what I'm trying to say here? That we have so much say in what goes on. We have so much power that for some reason we give our power away I don't know. We just give our power away. That's all I can say about that. But I want to point something out. So when they said it's a transition of economy, which many have spoken, they put in like parentheses here, taking from the earth. And then they reminded me of something I saw, like a reel or a short that I saw of a boy who picked rice and beans for his family. So I'm going to talk about both of those within the scope of economy. So I was scrolling, or I had to get on YouTube for something, and this short that probably a few of you have seen. It was a guy in a, little corner store, and he was filming his kids, and he asked him a question. He said, "How many inches are in a feet?" And this little boy said, 12. And he said, "Okay, you got it right. Now you and your brother and sister go pick anything you want out of the store. Anything you want. It's on me." And so the 2 little ones were running around and, they're trying to get snacks like Pringles and this and that. And the older boy who, oh gosh, I don't know how old he was, somewhere between 8 and 10. I don't know. Um he didn't believe it at first, and then and he went, the guy's like, "Go, go, go get food. Go get something, go pick it." That little boy, oh, it's so sweet to see this, because that's what I would have done. That's what a lot of people would do, and it's interesting because I had just been thinking about that, and then that came up in my feed. I hear my thoughts a lot lately. Um, that little boy went and got a bag of rice and a can of beans, and the guy filming went, "Whoa, what do you got, little man?" And he was like, "I got rice and beans." He was so excited. And the guy filming was kinda shocked because it was like, "You can have anything. You want a chocolate bar? You want" and he said so he asked the kid, he said, "Why did you grab rice and beans?" And the kid then said, "Oh, because my family's gonna try to have dinner together tonight, and when we eat together, we have rice and beans, so I wanna make sure that we have the food to have dinner together." Oh, break my heart. Oh, love it. Oh, love it, right? Love it. That little one knows better than the adults of the world. That little one knows better. That he knows, "Oh, I can feed my whole family on rice and beans, and that is where my mind should be. And when they say take anything, I choose that." That little boy knows better than any of us, right? That little boy knows that that's what would make him happy. That little boy knows that that's all they need, right? I know my viewers are understanding what I'm saying, right? I know my viewers are. So they said, "Remember that reel, Courtney," and then also in parentheses, then they said, "taking from the earth." A flipping of an economy can be difficult on people in the transition because, especially here in the States, we are very comfortable, a lot of us. And then there's a lot of us who are not comfortable. It is not balanced. It is not balanced at all. At all. I don't I that's it's hard to understand that there's a surplus here in the States, Y2K surplus, but yet then there's many that don't have any. And then there's these precious beans, these young ones that are growing up understanding rice and beans is a damn good night as long as you're with family and you have food, right? So I know a lot of people are reading between the lines, and we do take a lot from the earth in order to sustain things that we don't necessarily need. We don't necessarily need them, right? And that is the part of the transition that I remember I was on the Milky Way Soul Tribal. This was many months ago, and it was a panel discussing stuff. And when I popped in, a lot of people were discussing stuff, and I was really trying to track. I really was, but I wasn't. I wasn't capable of tracking because all I kept hearing was fear. And so when I asked about fear, like, I'm just hearing fear out of everyone. I'm not understanding why. Like, I literally wasn't. I'm not ever trying to call people out. I'm literally trying to understand. And at first, some said death, like they're afraid of death, and then they retracted that, which is fine. Um, but then the consensus was is that they were afraid that life was going to change as they know it. Well, life is going to change as you know it. That's the life is going to change as you know it. 2024, the year of trust, the year of you, I collectively, if we can build a foundation of experiencing and practicing trust through a transition of, yeah, you might have rice and beans. Awesome. Awesome. Because you can be trusted that you're fed. Other times you're gonna have a steak. Awesome. Cool. You've been fed. Um, a year of building and experiencing and expanding and knowing trust. Trust with self, that you're gonna show up for yourself. Trust of another human, because we have to have trust with another with at least one other human. The reason why is because we have to see trust demonstrated. We have to have all of the senses within trust, right? We have to feel it out. We have to see it. We have to experience what it is to trust. And we need another human to do that with, to build trust with, so we can start experiencing and understanding it more so on a level that we can't get just within ourselves. Just within ourselves can end up being the ego. I don't need anybody. I got my walls. I take care of me. I don't need you, right? It has to also happen with another human being so we can understand how it feels and tastes and experiences and breaks down some of those walls. And how do I continue to trust? Yeah, they showed up now, but is that going to happen again? Right? It has to be demonstrated to us, but both sides. And then we elevate that up to, okay, I know how it feels a bit. I know how to receive and give, because all is energy. I know how to release and attract because all is energy. And then we level that up to even a bigger divine creator, source, what have you, to really start building the trust with that, right? And 2024 is going to be massive transitions that we all have the opportunities to trust, right? No matter where we're at on the scale. Because many of us probably watching right now are going to be like, yeah, I'm scared that there's going to be weeks that I only have $8 to put food on the table. Hear me out. It's transition for everyone. So even those that are making six figures, they're going to be going through their own kind of transitions now, aren't they? The balance will happen. Is it gonna be smooth? That's up to you. Are you gonna trust? Because trusting makes it smooth. Oh, trusting makes it so much smoother. Ah, I can't even verbalize how much trusting makes transition smoother. So that is what I heard though out of everyone's voice on that panel. And then when I asked, what this fear was, they said that they were afraid that life was not going to be as they know it. Well, when we really look at life as we've known it, and most of those people on that panel were between their 40s and 60s, life as we've known it has not really been fair and kind to everyone. Life as we know it has not been balanced in any way, shape, or form. Life as we know it has not worked, right? So do know this is for everyone, and it is for a greater balance. It is for a greater harmony of us actually working together, humanity taking care of humanity. We don't need all the jazz of the political stuff. Humanity taking care of humanity, right? We're headed into that transition. 2024 is going to mirror 2026. How you build the trust in 2024 will show up for you in 2026. So they also, hmm, well, I guess I already kind of talked a lot about it. One more line that they wanted me to say was allow the transition to happen with trust or resist in fear. So that's our options. There you go. That's our options. So we have a lot actually happening in 2024. This was part 2, the conclusion of the part 1. That talked about the rise of the native. It talked about I'm trying to see if I have my notes in this book or not as to what was said. Um and talked about a lot of different parts to the transition and the trust and the no, that's 20 that's oh well, I have February 2023 reading in this book, not the that's funny. Um, so I don't know where it is in my notebooks. Go back and listen to it because it's gonna be an impactful year, and it's a choice year. We're making choices. We're making choices as to who we want to be moving forward and laying down all the things that don't suit us anymore and trusting ourselves, others, and the divine, that what we do need will show up. Allow the transition with trust or resist in fear. And then they said, tell them what you say, Courtney. Tell them what you say, Courtney. So every time that I have to connect with the Akashic, I do have to say some stuff, folks. I have to do some breathing stuff. I have to say some stuff. I don't just, you know, kind of fly in and barge into a place. I mean, it's very um because of who I am. I mean, I have to do some stuff. So one of the things that I do say, because it doesn't exist there, so I have to get rid of it before I, get my consciousness there. And when I say there, do know it is a consciousness aspect. Is it kind of a location? It's the waters of creation. It's the infinite, it's the 0 point of creation. It's the um infinite potentialities of us and all. So is it a place? Not necessarily, but it is a field, it's all of the fields of frequency that could ever be and have always been. So it's not a place necessarily, but it is a field, let's say, of consciousness that I personally have to do stuff to um obtain it, right? And then because I've been doing it for so long, it doesn't take me long anymore. Um, but I do still have to do things before I do a reading. Breathing work to help elevate and get my vibes up. And then I have to say stuff. Um, and one of those things is, and I state my full name. Anybody who's gotten a reading from me, you know that we're going to state our full names. Um, A lot of people say, try to say there's not much in a name or names don't matter. It actually does. It actually really does. Your name and your voice are attached to your frequency. We don't just walk around loose with our frequency based on our name and our voice, that there are identifying markers. Remember, all energy is really neutral. All energy is really neutral. It's us who decide what that energy is going to do, right? When you get down to the fundamental base of energy, the minute of the vibrations and frequencies that go through, it is neutral. It's neutral. It's us humans and others that say, nope, okay, that stream of energy, that frequency there, that's going to represent this. And so, even for us humans who are energy beings, because all is energy, energy in this body of form, how you're living that out now, your name and your voice, because your voice is your sound, please follow, your voice is your sound, is attached to then your frequency for to identify, like, if I'm doing a reading for you, I'm going, "Hey, I need the frequency of Lori there. I need the frequency of Shelley there. Give me the frequency story," right? But I need their participation because I don't have their voice, nor, am I actually gonna remember their full name, right? I'm not gonna remember. So even when I have to do a reading, I state my full name probably multiple times. So one of the things I say is I, Courtney, my name, lay down all resistance. And sometimes, depending on how rough I'm doing in the moment, I might say, I lay down all human resistance. I lay down all human pains and resistance. A lot of the readings I had to do in January because I had so much going on and I was in pain during some of it because, well, I had life pains, right? Human pains. So, in order to do what I need to do, I I say I lay it all down. I lay down that resistance. And then right after that, guess what I say? I, Courtney, open my multidimensional heart. I have to activate it. I have to lay down what 3D wants to burden me with. I lay down my human concerns. I lay down any resistance that is possibly still within me. And then I open. And then I open my multidimensional heart, right? That is what I have to do to access the records. That is what I also do the majority of my days. The majority of my days, because I've already built the trust. I've already built the trust and I understand belief more so. I have full belief. I really do. I know what belief is. But I've already built the trust that others are now going to be building themselves this year. So when I lay it all down, the worries, the fears, the humanness, the 3D density that wants to hold is like a heavy cape on my shoulders. I just take it off. I lay it down. And then what can sustain me? What can hold me up throughout life? My multidimensional heart. I'm sure they wanted me to bring that up because they told me to. They said, "Tell them what you say." Oh, goodness. So there you go. That's a little bit of what I have to do before I give y'all readings. That's what I have to do upon some other things that I have to say, and do. So it's up to you guys. 2024, allow the transition with trust or resist in fear. It's up to you guys. You beautiful stars. And I'm sure all of us will have our different moments. I'm sure all of us will have our different moments and complexities to the transition. I'm sure, but I have to go back to that reel with that with the beautiful boy who out of the lips of babes. You know, that used to be a saying. Out of the lips of babes. That boy just demonstrated to so many people. He's gonna be famous, I swear. That boy was demonstrating where our hearts should be, where our hearts should be. And it is a transition for everyone, for everyone. So when they said at the very beginning, um, a year of transition and acceptance, that's going to be the most difficult part, I think, for everybody, is the acceptance part. It really is. Um, but that's where the trust comes, right? You can't, it's hard to build the trust if we can't accept where we are in the moment. And it's only a moment. Life is a series of moments. That's it, you know? All of your lives are a series of moments. You're a beautiful story. We're all this is all just stories. I some can disagree and that is fine, but for me personally, you're a story, I'm a story. All of this is just a story. We're all just writing our personal stories that are attached to a much bigger story. The creator just really loves stories and loves to see how the stories play out. That's how I say it. Everybody's just a story, right? Everything's just a story, and we know past stories. Do we know the full complexities and ins and outs of it? No. Do we feel that we've been lied to? Many people still have issues with that. Yeah, sure. So you missed a chapter or two. Whatever. Whatever, you know? Um, it's everything is that. And so we are writing our personal stories and attached to the collective stories. So for me, like I know the part of acceptance for me in 2024. I was told this quite a while ago that 2024 was going to be a lot of different deaths for me. I was going to experience a lot of death. Which is fine. Like I That's fine, but along with death, January reminded me that I show up for those. Even if it's a small time period or a longer time period, I show up for those who are grieving. I sit with them. And but I forgot the aspect to that is the flexibility then I need to have and compassion for myself within that flexibility. I completely forgot that that was a part of it, right? Um that it will switch up my schedule. And I am not the most flexible human, and they've been talking to me about it for a very long time. Courtney, you have to become more flexible. I am not the most flexible. All of my if you look let's just say all of my big time zodiac stuff, it's all fixed signs. So I'm a very fixed person. I don't like flexibility. Um, but I need to. I need to be more flexible in all ways, shapes, and forms. And I'm really good at being able to regroup, but I also will prioritize things like sitting with others grieving or going through my own grieving over certain things, right? Well, so that's also a big part of my personal transition is to go with the flow of flexibility a bit more. So that's my one of my personal ones, right? Within that as well is also taking more me time. Like I really do need to take me time. I kind of lost that over the past few years, and it is very easy for me to lose. So, within that flexibility is also prioritizing me time. Some of you out there, you might be really good with flexibility. You might be awesome. I don't know. You could be great. You just roll with the changes. And some of you might not need to take any me time because You got plenty of it, and you actually need to maybe socialize more, right? You might need to get out of your house and go hang out with some people and new people, fresh people. Oh, they're out there and everybody's lovely. New and fresh people. It's a good time, right? So for me, it's no, Courtney, get into the house, be with yourself, me time, be more flexible and compassionate to your schedule, Courtney, right? For you, you could be the complete opposite of what that transition might need to be, right? You could be the complete opposite. Some of it might be very much physical. We might have to focus on our physical bodies more so. Some of it, the spiritual is going to be calling, right? The mental, the laying down the resistance, laying it down, building the trust, working through the past fears and into forgiveness. So it's going to look different for everyone, but it is going to happen to everyone. That is economic, that is social, that is individual, physical, mental, spiritual. That is, it's going to happen. So the one thing that we can see it as is an opportunity, multiple opportunities. Oh, I love this land of infinite potentiality. I love this land. Oh my gosh, this land is awesome. This world is so awesome. And all the humans are awesome. Everything's awesome. And it's all creation. It's so amazing. Um, we can take every opportunity that will be presented to us and make that choice. Make that choice. And remember, folks, it can be real easy if we're like teeter-tottering on choices. Are we in love or are we in fear? Are we in love or are we in fear? And I'm going to level it up just a little bit. So once we say, are we in love or are we in fear? And we're still maybe teeter-tottering, I don't know, which is love, which is fear. I'm going to pose a second one here, and I've never done this before until now. Ask yourself, am I in love or I'm in fear by the decision, right? Let's level up just a little bit to, does this serve solely me or does this serve everyone involved? Does this serve solely me or does this serve everyone involved? I say we go with that. When these moments happen, these moments that pass, because this too shall pass, everything passes. So that is inevitable. The moment will pass. So within those moments of those decisions, those choices, we can always pause and have discernment. I'm going to read this card one last time, and then I'm going to sound off, folks. I will not be here live next Friday. I have to go, as I said at the beginning, I have to go build relationships with a bunch of food trucks for the events that I put on, and they're all going to be in one place next Friday. See, you work smarter, not harder, folks. I'm not going to search out a bunch of food trucks. I'm just going to go to where all the food trucks are going to be. But that is next Friday, so I am not going to be here live. It has been determined that Lucky Stone 888 and I will record for tonight and most likely next Friday. I spoke with Lucky yesterday. He, I believe, might still be in the chat. He is feeling better, folks, and so we will be able to see him tonight at 8 p.m. He does thank everybody for their prayers of health and well-being. Um, We'll talk to him tonight, folks. So stick around for 8 p.m. Esoteric Tea with Lucky and Courtney. Number 20, discernment. The frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment. yet with compassion and wisdom. Oh my goodness, I love this card. I will make a short so you can see it a bit better. I love this card. So moving forward, discernment, trust, humanity, taking care of humanity. Go back and listen to the first part, the first 2024 predictions. This was kind of less predictions part 2, but more the how to, I guess, the how to. We can lay down our resistance, right? Because resistance is actually fear, just so everybody knows. Resistance is actually fear based. So, all right, folks, I see that Jargo came in. Good to see you, my dear. Beloved came in. Good to see you. Everybody's around. Have a great weekend, folks. Like I said, Lucky and I will be together tonight. It is not going to be live, it is pre recorded because I think I have to get to 500 subscribers before we can go live together, folks. So please and thank you. Think about sharing this out. And if you're new here, thumbs up, everybody. Cheers. Leave a comment below. Share it around. Get all your loved ones to say, hey, go subscribe to Courtney. So then Lucky and I can possibly go live together on Fridays instead of having to pre record. That is the reason why, folks. I need to get to that 500, I believe. And I'm at like 400. So help me out, everybody. Cheers, guys. Have a great weekend. And enjoy. Get out there in the sun. If the sun is out there, put the sun on your face. Put the sun on your face. So, everybody, thank you. 2024. We got this. We got this. We got this. We are such masters. We've actually been masters the whole time, but now people are coming to understand that. And so with coming to understand that you're a master is great responsibility now, isn't it? Right? It's our choice as to how we want to serve ourselves and others, right? All right, guys. Bye. Peace out.